You think you're broke because you're unlucky. You think money isn't flowing because you haven't worked hard enough. But the truth is, you're not stuck. You're just out of rhythm. Because there's a secret law that governs the rise and fall of your finances, and nobody ever told you. It's not about hustle. It's not about saving every penny. It's about learning how to surf the wave of the universe itself. And once you understand this law, the fifth Hermetic principle, you'll stop fearing the lows and start mastering the highs. If you've been waiting for the missing piece, this is it, and it's going to change the way you manifest money forever. Stay with me. Take a breath with me, in and out. Because this video is not like the others. This is not just another how to manifest money tutorial. This is a deep, energetic reset. Today, we're diving into one of the most powerful universal truths, a truth that ancient mystics knew, that modern millionaires are unknowingly aligned with, and that you starting right now will learn to master. It's called the law of rhythm, the fifth Hermetic principle. And if you've ever felt like your money comes and goes, if you've ever felt like you take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back, if you've ever wondered why your life feels like a cycle of gain and loss, this law holds the answers. You see, everything in this universe moves in rhythm. The tides, the seasons, the moon, your moods, your energy, your bank account. Nothing is static. Everything flows, and everything returns. But here's where it gets really interesting. Those who ignore this law get swept away by it, but those who understand it can rise above it. They learn to ride the wave instead of drowning in the crash, and that's what I'm going to show you today. Because money doesn't disappear, it cycles. And the more you resist the downswings, the longer you stay stuck in them. But the moment you accept the rhythm, you gain access to your highest financial flow. Today, we're going to talk about how to shift your perception of loss, how to use the lows to prepare for the highs, how to stabilize your vibration, and how to become magnetic to prosperity, no matter what phase you're in. We'll explore the origins of this law. We'll hear what great minds from Hermetic philosophers to modern energy coaches have said about it. We'll look at real-world financial patterns that prove this law in action. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at your setbacks the same way again. So if you're ready to stop riding the emotional roller coaster, if you're ready to break free from feast and famine, if you're ready to sync your energy with the pulse of abundance itself, then don't just watch, listen, feel, open, because you're about to unlock something deep, something sacred, something powerful. This is your rhythm. This is your return. This is your rise. Before we continue, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and if something resonates as we go, drop a comment and say, I'm in flow now. Are you ready? Let's begin. Let's take this deeper. Because chances are, you've already felt this law at work in your life. You've lived it. You've been confused by it. You've fought against it. Maybe you've had a time when money was flowing easily. Clients were saying yes. Sales were up. Unexpected deposits. Synchronicities everywhere. You felt magnetic. You felt aligned. You felt powerful. And then seemingly out of nowhere, the flow dried up. Bills came in. Clients backed out. The algorithm changed. Your confidence wavered. And you thought, did I do something wrong? But here's the truth most people miss. You didn't mess it up. You simply reached a natural point in the wave. You see, the law of rhythm says that everything moves in cycles. There is an ebb and a flow, a rise and a fall, a breath in and a breath out. And when you understand that these lows are not punishments but part of a larger movement toward growth, you stop reacting with fear and start responding with awareness. Because that's the secret. You don't have to ride the roller coaster. You can become the observer of the rhythm and the master of your vibration. That's when everything changes. Instead of panicking during the dip, you prepare. You align. You invest in your vision. You use the quiet phase to plant seeds, heal resistance, build systems, and come back stronger than ever. And it's not just spiritual theory, it's in nature too. Winter is not failure, it's preparation. The tree doesn't cry when it loses its leaves, it trusts that spring will come. You must do the same. Because every time you act from panic in the low, you delay the rise. But when you stay grounded, when you keep moving from a place of trust, you actually compress the cycle and rise even faster. That's why mindset work matters. That's why energy alignment matters. That's why gratitude in the low is one of the most magnetic things you can do. Now, I want you to think about your financial life like a tide. When the tide is out, you don't scream at the ocean to come back. You don't blame yourself for low water. You know it will return. So you prepare. You clean the nets. You fix the boat. You rest. Because you know when it comes back in, you'll be ready. Apply that same rhythm to your business, your savings, your creative flow, your sense of self-worth. And you'll never feel behind again. You'll feel aligned. This is exactly what wealth mentors like Bob Proctor and Joe Dispenza hint at when they talk about energy mastery. They teach us that reality isn't random, it's rhythmic. You're not meant to cling to the highs or fear the lows. You're meant to flow through both. And here's where it gets really powerful. You don't just respond to rhythm, you can influence it. Through your awareness, your emotional state, your dominant thoughts and beliefs. You can learn to extend the highs and soften the lows. You can build momentum not from hustle, but from alignment. It starts with knowing that every dip contains momentum, and every pause contains potential. If you can hold your vibration steady, if you can keep believing, when it looks like nothing is happening, you'll rise faster than you ever have before. Because the law of rhythm always honors those who honor the wave. If this is resonating, comment below. I trust the wave. Let's anchor that intention. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the perfect time. There's more to this, and we're just getting started. Let's keep going, because there's so much more to reveal about how this law can help you finally manifest the money you've been asking for. Let's talk about what it actually looks like to live in rhythm. Because understanding a law intellectually is one thing, but embodying it is something else entirely. Living in rhythm means you don't make decisions based on fear. You make them from awareness. It means you no longer say, I'm broke, I need to sell something fast, but instead ask, what phase am I in right now and how can I honor it? Because just like the moon doesn't apologize for not being full every night, you don't need to be in high performance or peak abundance all the time. That expectation is what burns people out. What actually creates long-term prosperity is honoring the flow of your energy, your intuition, your business, your money. You begin to plan for it like a wise farmer plans around the seasons. You know when to launch, when to rest, when to scale, when to listen. The law of rhythm invites you to become cyclical again, to return to a deeper intelligence than productivity or pressure. And when you apply this to money, you begin to notice something miraculous. Money starts coming back around. The moment you stop chasing and start attuning, the tides shift. Why? Because money is vibration, and your most magnetic vibration doesn't come from stress. It comes from stillness, from peaceful power, from a steady rhythm of belief and action. Think of some of the wealthiest people in the world. They're not panicked. They're not frantically checking bank accounts or trying to force every opportunity. They understand that markets rise and fall, that energy expands and contracts, that fortune flows in cycles. And because they've made peace with that, they move strategically, intuitively, gracefully. You can do the same. And here's something deeper. When you master rhythm, you begin to see that even the hard moments carry you forward. Even the pauses are pregnant with potential. When things seem still, they're not stagnant, they're synchronizing. Behind the scenes, the energy is gathering. The puzzle pieces are lining up. The answers are on their way. But if you panic in that stillness, if you sabotage your progress by quitting, forcing, or doubting, you disrupt the wave. You cut the flow short. But when you wait with faith, when you breathe through the discomfort of not knowing, you send a signal to the universe. I trust the process. I'm ready for more. And the universe responds with a louder yes. That's how the rhythm lifts you. Now let me share something most people don't realize. Even your setbacks, the ones that felt like failure, were part of the rhythm of your rise. The job you lost, the client that ghosted, the launch that flopped. They weren't punishments. They were pattern resets, universal corrections. Because sometimes the universe pulls back the tide to redirect your boat. And if you can start seeing these moments as adjustments, not as rejection, everything will change. You'll stop being afraid of the dip, and you'll start using it. You'll stop wasting energy resisting the silence, and you'll start listening to what it's telling you. This is how you become a rhythmic creator, not just a reactive participant in life. This is how you move from hoping for money to dancing with it. You begin to move in time with the beat of abundance itself, and eventually, you don't even have to think about it. It becomes instinct. Flow, pause, grow, pause, expand. And just like music, you realize the silence between the notes is what gives the song its power. That's rhythm, that's alignment, that's wealth. You know what makes this even more fascinating? This principle of rhythm isn't just some mystical idea passed down through whispers of esoteric circles. It has roots, real roots in ancient wisdom, science, and even psychology. The Hermetic texts, especially the Kybalion, speak of this law as fundamental, not optional, not hypothetical, but something that governs everything in the universe. And guess what? Modern thinkers have echoed this for over a century. Let me introduce you to a few of them. Walter Russell, an artist, scientist, and philosopher in the early 1900s, talked about the pulse of creation. He said, "Every action in nature is rhythmic. The entire universe breathes in waves." He wasn't writing poetry. He was documenting patterns. He claimed that prosperity comes not from control, but from attunement to these natural waves. Sound familiar? He even wrote that financial success follows cycles, and those who understand when to act and when to wait will always rise above those reacting in fear. But that's not all. Nassim Haramein, a contemporary physicist, talks about the oscillation of vacuum energy, how space itself pulses, expands, contracts. He proposes that these oscillations are not just physical, they are informational, meaning they carry intelligence. And when we are in coherence with them, when our thoughts and emotional waves synchronize with the universal pulse, we unlock something incredible. We become co-creators with the field itself. You see, these aren't spiritual fluff ideas. These are echoed in studies of heart rate variability by the HeartMath Institute. They've proven that a coherent heart, one that moves in a rhythmic pattern, creates electromagnetic fields that affect our mental clarity, intuition, and even, you guessed it, our capacity to attract abundance. Why? Because rhythm creates coherence, coherence creates clarity, and clarity attracts opportunity. This is where science meets mysticism. Now let's go further. Even in economics, yes, real-world money, we have this idea of market cycles: boom, correction, recession, recovery. And who thrives? Those who understand the rhythm, those who don't panic at the bottom, those who see the lull as a setup, not a setback. Ray Dalio, one of the most successful hedge fund managers in the world, speaks openly about economic seasons. He uses nature as a metaphor for money. Winter isn't bad. It's preparation. Summer is the time to harvest. Exactly what the Kabbalion taught, long before Wall Street ever existed. So, think about this. If the markets have rhythm, if the planets move in rhythm, if our hearts beat in rhythm, then why would money be any different? It isn't. Money responds to energy, and energy responds to vibrational waves which always move in cycles. If you ignore that, you'll always feel offbeat. But when you understand it, you can dance with it. That's not metaphor. That's manifestation at its core. And here's something powerful. Even ancient Chinese medicine, in the philosophy of Taoism, teaches this same thing through yin and yang. Expansion and contraction, action and stillness, high and low. It's the law of rhythm again, in another language from another continent, confirming what the Hermetists knew centuries ago. So ask yourself, if every wisdom tradition, if modern science, if elite investors and mystics alike are all pointing to the same pattern, can you really afford to ignore it? This isn't optional anymore, not if you truly want to create wealth that lasts. If you want to ride the wave, if you want money to flow with you, you must stop resisting the rhythm. Stop doubting the quiet moments, stop fearing the slowdowns, and start learning how to move in sync. Because rhythm is the code behind reality, and those who understand it bend reality in their favor. So now you understand the proof. You've seen the patterns across science, economics, energy, even spirituality. The law of rhythm is real, and it's everywhere. But here's the most important question of all. How do you actually live by it? Because theory is beautiful, but application is powerful. And this is where most people get stuck. They hear about alignment. They read books on abundance. They watch videos about manifestation. But they keep trying to manifest wealth from a place of panic, from a place of fear, from a place of I need it now or I'm not enough. That's not rhythm. That's resistance. And you cannot attract money from the frequency of lack. You must shift your timing, shift your emotional music, shift your expectation of flow. Let me show you how this changes everything. First, you stop asking, when will it happen? And instead you ask, what's rising right now and what's receding? You begin to track your own energy, like the moon tracks her own phases. You ask, is this a planting season or a harvesting season? You don't push when your intuition says pause. You don't hide when your soul says act. Man, this is rhythm, and this is wealth. Let's get specific. In business, there will be slow months. That's not failure. That's the inhale, the universe catching its breath before the next big exhale. In sales, there will be surges and quiet spells. If you panic during the quiet, you teach your energy to collapse when things pause. But if you stay open, if you keep preparing, if you stay attuned to the subtle cues of when to strike with clarity, the rhythm will reward you. In your personal energy, some days you'll feel like a lightning bolt. Others, you'll feel like the embers of a fire. But here's the secret. Both hold power. Lightning starts the blaze, but embers sustain the flame. Wealth isn't built in one single moment of action. It's built in the consistency of honoring your rhythm daily. That's it. That means resting when it's time to rest, investing when it's time to plant, and trusting that even in silence, something is growing. Now here's the deeper truth. When you stop fighting your rhythm, you create energetic availability. And that's what money is drawn to. Money is not just chasing your hard work. It's chasing your stability, your belief, your consistency with the current. The people who magnetize abundance, they're not desperate. They're not scattered. They're steady. They move with the tides. They act when the window opens, and they're patient when it closes. They don't get tossed around by the waves. They ride them. That's what I want for you. Not just more money, but a better relationship with the flow of money. Because when you become someone who trusts the rhythm, you stop questioning if money will come. You start assuming it, welcoming it, dancing with it. And before you know it, you're no longer chasing wealth. You've become a vessel for it. You're holding the beat, and money begins to move to your rhythm. Let's go even further now. You've listened. You've felt the truth in this rhythm. You've remembered how nature never rushes, and yet everything gets done. But what if I told you you can use this rhythm intentionally as a tool to manifest money? Yes, you can. Here's how. You begin by creating your own financial rhythm ritual. Now, don't overcomplicate that. This is something you'll do every day, a simple act of alignment to anchor your energy into the cyclical, pulsing nature of abundance. Because remember this, wealth isn't a static destination. It's a wave. And if you want to surf that wave, you need to train your body, your mind, your field to move with it. So try this. Each morning right after you wake up, before checking your phone, before letting the noise of the world invade your frequency, take a quiet moment. Close your eyes. Place one hand on your chest, the other on your belly, and feel your breath like a tide. In and out, in and out. Let your body remind you you are rhythm. Then ask yourself this one question. What phase am I in today? You might hear, today is a build day, or today is for receiving. Today is for silence. Today is for action. Trust it. Let your intuition sync with the universal metronome. And once you hear the answer, speak this aloud. I trust the rhythm. I move with it. And because I trust, I attract. That's it. It's not about forcing a vision board. It's about becoming an instrument that plays with universal timing. And when you do that, opportunities show up. Ideas land with clarity. The right client calls. The transfer hits your account. Not because you chased, but because you aligned. This is the secret behind the most successful people you know. They may not use these words, but they live in flow. They don't panic at the dip. They don't over-celebrate the peak. They ride the current like a dance. You can do the same. Just 5 minutes a day, just one quiet moment to check your energetic pulse and listen to what phase you're in. Then live accordingly. Sell when it's time. Rest when it's right. Speak boldly when you feel the surge. Pull inward when the wave pulls back. This isn't laziness. This is sacred precision. This is wealth wisdom. And the more you do it, the more your body, your nervous system, your vibration will naturally sync to the frequency of financial flow. That's when miracles stop feeling like miracles and start feeling like your new normal. You've remembered how nature never rushes, and yet everything gets done. But what if I told you you can use this rhythm intentionally as a tool to manifest money? Yes, you can. Here's how. You begin by creating your own financial rhythm ritual. Now don't overcomplicate that. This is something you'll do every day, a simple act of alignment to anchor your energy into the cyclical, pulsing nature of abundance. Because remember this, wealth isn't a static destination, it's a wave. And if you want to surf that wave, you need to train your body, your mind, your field to move with it. So try this. Each morning, right after you wake up, before checking your phone, before letting the noise of the world invade your frequency, take a quiet moment. Close your eyes. Place one hand on your chest, the other on your belly, and feel your breath like a tide. In and out, in and out. Let your body remind you you are rhythm. Then ask yourself this one question. What phase am I in today? You might hear, today is a build day, or today is for receiving. Today is for silence. Today is for action. Trust it. Let your intuition sync with the universal metronome. And once you hear the answer, speak this aloud. I trust the rhythm. I move with it. And because I trust, I attract. That's it. It's not about forcing a vision board. It's about becoming an instrument that plays with universal timing. And when you do that, opportunities show up. Ideas land with clarity. The right client calls. The transfer hits your account. Not because you chased, but because you aligned. And listen, if this is making sense to you, if something inside you feels like it's clicking, don't let this be just another video you scroll past. Pause, take a deep breath, and hit that subscribe button, because this is just the beginning. There's more waiting for you, more tools, more guidance, more truth about how to live this new rhythm, and I'd love to walk with you on that path. So, subscribe. Leave a comment below telling me what phase you feel you're in today, and keep showing up for yourself. You don't have to force the tide, you just have to meet it. See you in the next video.